Ladies and gents, polish those shoes and crank the gramophone. It's time to dive headfirst into the decade that danced like no one was watching, the Roaring Twenties. Now we got flappers and fringe and bootleg gin, jasmine blowing as the night rolls in. From Harlem Nights to Hollywood gold, stories untold, scandal and bold. We regret nothing. We're talking swing, we're talking sass, top hats, headlines, and backstage pass. We regret nothing.
Welcome back to We Regret Nothing, the podcast where three highly opinionated humans argue about which pieces of pop culture should represent Earth in a time capsule launched into space. For aliens. You know, normal podcast stuff. I'm your host, Sean, and this is episode 4 of season 1, where we're covering the 1920s. We've survived the silent film showdown, but now it's time to trade popcorn for paperbacks. That's right. Today, we're diving into the literary world of the 1920s. This was the decade of the Lost Generation, modernism, the Harlem Renaissance, my favorite, detective fiction, stream of consciousness experiments, and at least one green light shining across the bay. Writers were challenging form, rewriting culture, and maybe having one too many cocktails while doing it. In this episode, I plan to reveal the 20 books that defined or defied the 1920s. And then, of course, Andrea and Michelle will do what they do best: argue, panic, overthink, and try to protect their favorites as we prepare to cut the list down to 10 in the next round. Will Gatsby survive? Will Virginia Woolf make the final cut? Will anyone admit they've never finished Ulysses? Let's crack the spine on episode 4. This one's for the book nerds. Hello, Michelle.
Hola.
Hello, Andrea. Okay, why don't we start again? And this list is in no particular order. With number 1, The Great Gatsby. This is a 1925 novel by American writer F. Scott Fitzgerald, set in the Jazz Age on Long Island, which is near New York City.
Sorry, I need to correct you. That's Long Island.
Long. Got it. And so this novel depicts first-person narrator Nick Carraway's interactions with Jay Gatsby, this mysterious millionaire obsessed with reuniting with his former lover, Daisy Buchanan. This novel was inspired by a youthful romance Fitzgerald had with a socialite, Geneva King, and then the parties he attended on Long Island's North Shore in 1922. And then following a move to the French Riviera, Fitzgerald completed a rough draft of this novel in 1924. Interesting little side note, but the painter Francis Cugat's dust jacket art, which is named Celestial Eyes, impressed Fitzgerald so much that he incorporated that art into the imagery in the novel. But bad news. After its publication in April of 1925, this novel was a commercial disappointment. It sold fewer than 20,000 copies by October, and Fitzgerald's hopes of a monetary windfall from the novel went unrealized. He died in 1940, believing that he was a failure and his work would be forgotten. Then, World War II. The novel experienced an abrupt surge in popularity when the Council on Books in Wartime started distributing free copies of this book to American soldiers serving overseas. So this newfound popularity launched a critical and scholarly re-examination, and this work soon became a core part of most American high school curriculum and a bigger part of American pop culture. Numerous stage and film adaptations followed in the subsequent decades. Scholars emphasize the novel's treatment of social class, inherited versus self-made wealth, gender, race, environmentalism, as well as its cynical attitude towards the American dream. Enough of a setup. Anyone have thoughts on The Great Gatsby?
Oh, I do.
Andrea.
I can tell by the look on her face.
I just want to start off by saying, fuck F. Scott Fitzgerald.
For the record.
Yeah, for the record.
For the record.
For the record. He plagiarized this shit from his wife's diary.
Oh, that's right.
He's just, she was the creative genius. He was a fucking copycat. He was Peter Bogdanovich with Polly Platt.
Oh.
He is like, just, you have no original fucking thought. You're a whiny bitch.
If I may,
Yeah.
and not challenging your information, I just didn't come across that information. Where do you get that information?
Half-assed internet research. But I had heard it before in, it was a women's speaking group, and they were like, that's once again like the rape of
Cockman oppressor.
Yes, thank you very much. But it was on. If you Google that shit, it does read that.
Did you just tell me to Google that?
He did take from her for a lot of his works. He took from her diaries, and she knew it's not like, but it wasn't an original thought on his ass. And then in another book, he took what she said when she was all doped up from giving birth to their child. It like took literal sentences. So what I want to say is, and then when she tried to create, he shat all over it. And so that's why I'm like, you couldn't even be like, hey, she's doing like, he just don't like the cut of his jib. And with this book, I am #blessed enough that I have never watched a movie adaptation of this. I've never read it.
Oh.
And
Wait, how did you escape reading this? Were you homeschooled and I forgot?
Okay.
So
like all
Michelle,
the soldiers, every student in America
know.
was forced to read this.
I know,
fucking
and
thing.
I'm
How
like,
did you get out of
I
reading
don't
this?
know, which makes me wonder.
Oh, did you just steal a book report from someone and
Is
turn
my
it in?
name redacted?
No,
But
there's
Michelle-
going to be mentioned.
So it seems like, I'm sorry, but what is your relationship with this book then? You read it in high school?
Yes.
Did you read it in 10th grade? The first half of 10th grade? Because I was
You're
over.
asking my
I was over
my
at
old
Wilson,
ass brain.
and I had Mr.
Oh,
Soul,
you know what?
and
Okay,
I read that.
probably, but
We had a
I
different
had to
list.
read it twice because of AP English. It was one of the required books, like you
Makes
had
sense.
to, right? And then I'm pretty sure you're right about reading it as a sophomore as well.
I think in the beginning, because like Danielson's and Soul's reading list were
Yes.
flipped. So when I
Yeah.
came over, everything I had already read.
Yeah, I read it, in
Was-
10th grade,
Mhm.
and then again with Whitaker and AP.
Yeah.
If this book was a Reddit post, everyone sucks here. Everyone sucks.
Everyone does.
Everyone sucks.
Because
It's still a good read, and I liked it. Like, I'll be honest, like, as the book separating art from artist, I liked the book. Again, like, but every character is like, it's hard to root for anyone. Like, everyone sucks here. Everyone,
that's
particularly Tom.
just
Tom's the worst.
I wrote that I've never read it or watched the movies, as I said, but the summary, just like like the Cliff Note version of this, I was like, this reads like so fan fiction. This is how 50 Shades of Grey got created. Like, this is how it reads. I'm like, I used to write this shit when I was like in 9th grade and thought I was going to be like a great author. It doesn't, which if you did plagiarize, which you did, this is shit you write in your diary.
I mean, I do feel like this is a time and place read, right? Like, this is for exactly the kind of purposes that we're doing here, right? Like, if you need to capture, like, what this particular age is, with this particular socioeconomic group, this is it,
They're
right?
just all dicks.
No one is likable, not even for a second. I don't think. I didn't think a single one of them was likable.
Now I got to go back and read it.
I
have to read it.
I was surprised to hear you say that you've never read this book.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not a reader.
No,
friend.
nor am I. That's Andrea is the
I
resident reader.
Right.
And so, and listen, I've obviously never read this book. I've never read a book, but
how did you? Okay, I'm not going to ask how you escaped it. You just
we don't need to go down that road.
Maurice Fountain, come on.
For reference, the football coach did not make any athletes really do any work and still pass them. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, fat girls had to read. Anyway.
Anything else though about the initial thoughts about The Great Gatsby?
No, I feel like
he was great.
I feel it. I feel that it sums up just everything. I mean, I know all about it, like by no want of my own, and it seems to. And I know we're not at the point yet, and Michelle and I are always breaking this, but it does seem to embody the 20s.
So, okay, your first book and you're breaking the rules. We're 4 episodes into this.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the top 10
I'm not talking about the top 10.
Or the final 5.
I said it embodies the 20.
You were starting to go down a treacherous road.
I think the other good thing about this book is that whether intentioned or not, I think it exposes that the American dream is a lie.
Yeah.
Right? Because all or most of these characters are born into some kind of
socio. Or they actually kind of take their wealth, like they're mad about it. Like, this isn't easy being born this way.
Yeah, okay, and with the exception of the little tennis player girl, they're all like, again, they're just terrible. But I think it points out that the American dream is a lie, right? Yeah. Unless the whole pull yourself up by your bootstrap shit is garbage. Mm-hmm. Just that's for the record, is garbage. Like if you're born into poverty, it's near impossible. And we'll have some other books that kind of touch on that too, right? Yes. It's near impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps when you don't have fucking boots, right? Yeah. So I do feel like this. And maybe he intended it, I don't know, but I do think it kind of, if you read enough into it, or if you just read it, I think it exposes that these people were born into this, and that's why, woe is me with all these like first world problems they have, and then everyone in it sucks. Yeah. They all suck, no matter how much money they have, no matter none of them are happy. No. It's all garbage. And we touch on that through other books in this as well. But this one, I think, just look and feel, time and place.
Okay. Anything else before we move on to number 2?
Tom sucks.
Tom sucks.
F. Scott Fitzgerald. He's a horrible person, and I don't like him.
Why are you whispering it? You're on a podcast.
What if his family comes and sees him?
Okay. So book number 2, since I mentioned it in the opening, Ulysses. Jesus. And so Ulysses is a modernist novel by the Irish writer James Joyce. Mm-hmm. So this is written over a 7-year period, starting in 1914, ending in 1921. Originally, so Ulysses was serialized in the American journal, The Little Review, from 1918 to 1920. And then the publication, the final publication that came out, Nausicaa, whatever. The point is that episode led to a prosecution for obscenity under the Comstock Act of 1873, which that act made it illegal to circulate materials deemed obscene in U.S. mail. And so going back, though, in 1919, sections of this novel appeared in the London literary journal, The Egoist. So why I'm saying that, to say that parts of it were published, distributed, but the book itself, even in the UK, the book was banned all the way up until 1936. So Joyce had resolved that the book would be published on his 40th birthday, which was February 2nd, 1922. And so Sylvia Beach, who is Joyce's publisher in Paris, received the first 3 copies from the printer that morning. And I'm saying all of this and chuckling just about censorship, and even though that's not funny, but what gets censored is what is like crazy to me. But anyway, let me go back. The 1920 prosecution in the U.S. was brought after the Little Review serialized the passage of the book depicting characters masturbating. That's what the problem was with this book. So 3 earlier chapters had been banned by the U.S. Post Office. that sentence. I'm going to just, the chapters had been banned by the U.S. Post Office.
Right, because you can't distribute pornography through the mail.
But it was the secretary of the New York Society for the Suppression of Vice, John S. Sumner, who instigated the legal action. The post office did partially suppress the Nausicaa edition, but this is legal historian Edward de Grazia argued that few readers would have been fully aware of the masturbation in the text, given the metaphoric language.
Yeah.
So again, it wasn't explicitly described or the masturbation part. And so at the trial,
likes to say masturbation.
What's that?
I said I think Sean maybe just likes to say masturbation.
No, I felt like I was saying it too much. So at the trial in 1921, the magazine was declared obscene, and as a result, Ulysses was effectively banned in the United States. Throughout the 1920s, the United States Post Office Department burned copies of the novel. In 1932, Random House and the lawyer for Random House, Morris Ernst, arranged to import the French edition and have a copy seized by customs. Random House contested the seizure, and in United States versus one book called Ulysses, that is the actual title of this case, U.S. District Judge John Woolsey ruled that the book was not pornographic and therefore could not be obscene, a decision that was called epic making. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the ruling in 1934. Thus, the U.S. became the first English-speaking country where this book was freely available. Although Ireland's Censorship of Publications Board never banned Ulysses, a customs loophole prevented it from being allowed into Ireland. It was first...
It's a book set in Ireland, but it wasn't available in Ireland.
Correct. So again, going back just for Andrea, the Irish part of this, but they never banned Ulysses, but they found a loophole in the customs laws that prevented it from being allowed into the country. And it wasn't openly available in Ireland until the 1960s.
And now they have Bloomsday in Ireland, which just makes okay.
And so just a little background more about, because I think this is not the only book that we're going to discuss censorship. And all the problems and the ridiculous things, in my opinion, that gets a book banned. But just a couple of things like the post office burning books. So enough of my craziness. First question, Andrea, have you ever read Ulysses?
I've never made it through Ulysses.
But you have.
I've read the synopsis and I have tried.
Michelle, have you finished Ulysses?
Shout out to Coma Public School System, District number 10. I have not read it, but I had the Cliff's Notes version of it, like an abridged. Yep, but I will not. Yes, like an abridged version of it that pulled out certain parts so that it would, all the ships passing in the night kind of thing would still make sense.
Okay.
But not all 400 or 732 pages.
Yes.
No, sir.
No, and I love,
this is a Game of Thrones novel.
Yeah.
I'm certain that George R.R. Martin read Ulysses and was like, how, hold my beer.
Yes.
Because how many extra characters can I put in this?
And they all have a name super similar. Walter.
Yes.
The second.
So I
Walter.
think.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I didn't.
But I can get through George's. So shout out to George.
Yeah.
The Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Books? Okay. But I talked about the censorship and all that and didn't even talk about the book. You saying it's a Game of Thrones book. Go ahead.
From the character standpoint, from how many characters there are standpoint, that is very Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. But it's a little, it's not exactly sliding doors, but there's a lot of, this person passes by this person, but they're connected to this person and that, and
that comes up a lot too in a lot of these
books.
And
I think that I made the notes about just how the writing style is completely wild, right? It's just kind of all over the place, and the language is, everywhere, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of allusions to things. So I think beyond the fact that it's a 732 page novel, it's probably not a comfortable read for someone who doesn't read, there is no way
Yeah.
I would sit down and think I'm even going to try, right? Because
That's right.
just the way it's written. But for for scholars, that's part of what's so noteworthy about it. And I am far from scholar, so I do have a question about the censorship part of it.
Yeah.
What was it? I know that it was about the masturbation, but wasn't he like ogling like teen girls on the beach when he's doing it? And is maybe that part of it? I feel like that was what he was doing he was at the beach, right? Am I remembering this right?
I don't even remember the masturbation.
And I thought that he was like looking at like young girls on the beach while he was, but maybe I have that wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sure someone will tell me in the
Next
comments.
to each other, the men out back. Like I was like, is that what they tried to say? Also, I love that we ban like, but with the sexuality and the freaking anti-Semitism in this book.
Yeah, that is a running theme as well.
Well, that's like I had a whole I have a whole thing on what my thoughts of the books of the 20s were, and sex and anti-Semitism. It's kind of like with films, it was Jesus and Germans.
Homophobia and latent homosexuality.
Latent, and sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's not.
Right.
And sometimes we can refer to it, and sometimes it's forbidden. And sorry, babe, I know that we're on Ulysses right now, but like this just makes no sense to me, and I don't. It's like reading a Nicholas Sparks novel. Oof. Like why? And I get. I like to read for enjoyment, and when I myself am not enjoying it, then I begin to resent the book and I resent the characters.
And do you have this in your notes, Sean? It took him like 7 years to write this book. Is that true?
I did say that, yeah, but
the birds don't like it either.
I was going to say
there's a raven for you, James Joyce.
I'm going back through my notes, but I thought that I remembered the 7 years.
I have that written down.
Yeah. So let's talk just for a second. Let's talk structure. So this book is divided into 3 books, 1, 2, and 3, and 18 episodes. There's different versions of this book, editions of this book, but this is really like the way that it's laid out. The structure is very closely corresponding to Homer's Odyssey.
Yes.
Which again, Ulysses is. I don't know the actual.
I didn't make it through Homer's Odyssey either.
Oh wow, I'm learning so much about Andrea. But so the Odyssey is divided into 24 books, and so Ulysses has fewer episodes. But I think that the drawing the correlation between the two, those two stories. Might be what he's going for, but it's all over the place because there's little bits of Hamlet. There's some Shakespeare stuff in here too, but I just want to, because we're going to get to, I think, her next, but this quote from, I'm trying to find the quote from
it's Virginia Woolf.
Wolf.
She hated it as much as I did.
She did not enjoy this book, and I just thought it was funny, but now I just lost it in my notes.
Did you?
I
I love that.
I know it. I
Virginia
know
Woolf.
it's so funny.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. But again, I think, Michelle, to your point, I was bringing up structure because this thing's just all over the place.
Yeah, I think if you could make it through, it's probably just not an enjoyable read.
Yeah.
Right? But,
it just doesn't seem like it. And I'm sure there's, like, hopefully we have some listeners / viewers, and somebody's like, you dumb bitches. You have no idea.
For sure,
yeah. Don't call us bitches, okay? We might be dumb.
Wait, you called yourselves that and then
totally
assigned it to... Okay,
fine.
So I found in 1923, Virginia Woolf wrote, Ulysses was a memorable catastrophe, immense in daring, terrific in disaster. So like I said, I thought that was somewhat funny. So anything else about Ulysses?
No.
I don't think so.
Boy, that was just.
God is a shout in the street.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
That is
a
a good
quote
quote.
from the book. God
That
is
is
a
a good
shout in the street, which
That's
actually is pretty, pretty
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Book number 3, The Sun Also Rises.
Mm.
This is the first novel by Ernest Hemingway, following his experimental novel in fragments, right? Short stories. This book portrays American and British expats who travel from Paris to the festival in Pamplona, watch the running of the bulls, watch bullfights. This is a early modernist novel that received mixed reviews upon publication, but one of the things, these are things I find interesting. I may be the only one, but the novel is about real life events that is overlaid with this facade of fiction. So he takes the characters are based on people in Hemingway's circle, real people, and the action is based on real events, particularly Hemingway's life in Paris in the 20s. He did take a trip to Spain in 25 for the festival, fishing in the Pyrenees. Hemingway converted to Catholicism as he was writing this novel, and so there was some take that the protagonist, Jake Barnes, a Catholic, was really a vehicle for Hemingway to kind of rehearse his own conversion and testing the emotions that would accompany one of the most important acts of his life to him. Hemingway presents his notion that the lost generation, considered to have been this decadent, dissolute, and just irretrievably damaged group of people from World War I, was in fact resilient and strong, and not what they were believed to be. Hemingway investigates the themes of love and death, the reviving power of nature, concept of masculinity. His spare writing style, combined with his restrained use of description to convey characterizations and action, demonstrates his iceberg theory of writing. They'd never heard of that before. And so, have you heard of the iceberg theory of writing? You two,
Yes.
You have.
Yeah, I'm married to an English major.
I learned that last night, but I might have known that before. But what is the iceberg? Yeah, that's what I was told last night.
Oh, I thought you.
But Michelle, iceberg theory of writing.
It's that if you give the reader enough on the surface, that
Well, that
you
makes
have to trust that they can figure out what's underneath, right?
Mhm.
So they get the tip, if you will,
Michelle.
of the
Married to
iceberg.
an English major.
And then you let them figure it out for themselves what's underneath, all the underlying. They have to do the work, basically.
Okay.
And he wrote like that a lot because my theory, because he was a journalist. I think when he went to writing fiction, he wanted you to do the work,
Mhm.
right? He wanted the reader to do the work.
Hmm.
Right, so I'll give you some ideas and some structure and some facts, and then you put it together.
Yeah, I'm not going to lead you to it.
I think under the guise of I trust that you're smart enough to do it. But my personal feeling about Mr. Hemingway is that he was boring. I hated all of these books in high school because it's
Because
like
they're boring.
Yeah, there's like a flat
You
line.
don't have to like.
It's like a flat line for
It's
me.
so.
Meh.
He's so. And I've read this book. I've read this.
Okay, you've read The Sun Also Rises.
Yeah.
Did you have to read that in high school as well, or just on your own?
I read it on my own.
Okay, Michelle in high school.
Mhm.
Okay.
Listen, anything I've read was probably required.
No, he's just. I understand his appeal more to men because it is very like we're gonna run with some bulls and we're gonna fish in some shark infested water. To me, it's just like it's just so bro. It's so bro. I could see if they knew how to read, and this is where I'm gonna get mean, and you're gonna scold me about it. But it's like if Joe Rogan could read, this is who he would read.
Okay.
It's the bro. Like, dude, did you read Hemingway? Fucking boring. He's boring. He knew he was boring. That might be why he left this earth a little early.
Why did you change your shirt, by the way? Andrea started the day off wearing a shirt that said, "I could be meaner." And I think maybe she changed it because it's wrong. I don't know that you could be meaner.
I know.
Okay.
But I have, and this is what I find, and I find it very for such a like man's man. Like I've got like just the way he is. All this is just finding a way to pussy out talking shit about your friends and family. That's all he did. I mean, that's what it is.
The term
The
we talked
Romano-
about
yes.
earlier, the Romano clay,
Romano
right?
clay.
Which is basically just, like you said,
Yeah.
taking people in your circle and changing their names to
Slightly.
protect the innocent,
Yes.
and maybe
You're
changing.
Rochelle. I'm talking about Rochelle. Not,
Okay, Pandria. But like
I've
you
never
change it, and so that, for me, again, he's a journalist at heart, right?
Yeah.
He's a journalist, and he was a good
He was
journalist.
a good journalist.
But I think he just wrote what he knew because, again, my opinion, he wasn't all that creative.
Yeah.
So he just wrote about what he knew, and he changed the names a little, and he changed the scenarios slightly.
Yeah.
But to your point, I'm going to convert to Catholicism, and I'm going to do it through I'm going to work myself through it through this book. So I have no problem for people writing for themselves or making music for themselves, and then if other people like it, great. But because we have another Hemingway on the list, for me, that it's the same book. Like
Yes.
they're all the
They
same.
are.
They're all the same, and I just not a fan. The homophobia in this, the anti-Semitism. My God,
There's a character, Robert Cohn.
Yeah, Cohn. They only refer to him by his last name, and then they call him.
They call him some horrible names.
Horrible. Yes.
They treat him differently, isolate him from the group.
No, it's
Yeah.
horrible. Which I'm like, oh, if you were right in real life, then who'd you do this to, motherfucker?
Oh, Andrea.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, this is the hard thing with this, that as we go through, and people, this to me, Hemingway was never, and I was looking at that most of my teachers, most of the English teachers I had, were not enamored with him either. So it was nice that it wasn't like this, he's an artist, and you're like, no.
What's the Hunger Games author?
Suzanne Collins.
Yeah, he was the Suzanne Collins of his day. He just
right.
wrote the same book over and over again. And I read those books, again, assigned to me by my sister-in-law. No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Final Destination. You're all gonna die in some weird way. Okay. I love
Okay,
Final
so,
Destinations.
Next, book number 4, The Wasteland. This is actually a poem by T.S. Eliot, but it's widely regarded as one of the most important English language poems of the 20th century. It's the central work of modernist poetry. This was published in 1922. It is a 434-line poem, which first appeared in the UK in the October issue of Eliot's magazine, The Criterion, and in the US in November in an issue of The Dial. Among its famous phrases are "April is the cruelest month," "I will show you fear and a handful of dust," and "These fragments I have shored against my ruins." I have no idea what any of those things mean, but that's what people seem to remember. So this book does not follow, or this story does not follow a single narrative or feature a consistent style or structure. It shifts between voices of satire and prophecy, features abrupt and unannounced changes of narrator, location, and time, conjuring a vast and dissonant range of cultures and literatures. But it does employ many allusions to Western canon. So Ovid's Metamorphoses, The Legend of the Fisher King, Dante's Divine Comedy, Chaucer's?
Chaucer.
Why is that so hard for me to say? Chaucer.
Jeffrey? Just imagine Paul,
Jeffrey.
What's his name? Naked.
Uh,
So I get it right.
Paul
Bettany.
Bettany, Canterbury Tales, and even a contemporary popular song, That Shakespearean Rag. So this poem is divided into 5 sections.
And
Go ahead.
Robert Browning, Child Roland to the Dark Tower Came.
Is that a line from that?
No, that's a Robert Browning poem, Child Roland to the Dark Tower Came. Yeah. That's the
Okay.
name. Jeez, now I have to fact check myself in real time. Go on.
The first section here, The Burial of the Dead. This introduces the diverse themes of disillusionment and despair. The second, a game of chess, employs alternating narratives. The Fire Sermon offers a philosophical meditation in relation to self-denial and sexual dissatisfaction. Death by Water, brief description of a drowned merchant. And finally, What the Thunder Said, which is a culmination of the poem's previously exposited themes. And so upon its initial publication, The Wasteland received a mixed response. Some critics found it willfully obscure, while others praised its originality. Subsequent years saw the poem become established as, like I said, a central work in the modernist canon. This did prove to be one of the most influential works of the century. Andrea, did you find your notes?
Yeah, they're just it was your wife going into different things.
Got it. Michelle, thoughts on The Wasteland?
I'm a fan.
Okay.
I like poetry. I've always liked poetry. The fact that this is included is exciting to me. Death by Water will come as no surprise as my favorite.
Why is that?
I don't know. I like dark themed things.
But
because it's the merchant and just the story of, and it's also the shortest one. It's also
the truth is revealed.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that it's not the rhyming structure. It's not standard. It's Ezra Pound was a big influence on this, and I was a big fan of Ezra as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the allusions to other works because a lot of times, if something in a thing that I'm maybe not terribly interested in references something else, and I go to that thing and I'm like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised how much I like this thing, right? So I learned about Philomela, the legend where she gets raped and then she turns into a raven. Mm-hmm. Is that right? A nightingale. She turns into a nightingale.
Okay.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
And I don't
Andrea?
feel like 434 lines is too much. I mean, it is.
I'm sorry for before. Because anybody that is going to be like, this bitch loves Stephen King, and that's why she threw those two together. But I swear that I had read that. I swear that I had read that that The Wasteland also did take from the Robert Browning 1858 poem "Child Roll into the Dark Tower Came," which is about a quest. Which I was wrong, though. The Dark Tower and the Wastelands are part of the Dark Tower.
So now you set it up. So what are your thoughts on
The Wasteland? I'm a fan. My note, yes, I'm a fan. My note literally says, I feel like I should go back and try to reread this because I have read it, but I don't want to. Ezra Pound. That's what I said.
That's an Ezra Pound quote, but I don't want to. Ezra Pound. Probably.
But I recognize the genius of it. I'm very, to me, it beats all other T.S. Eliot work.
I could agree with that.
Very much enjoyed it, and I liked seeing it on this list. I was very, very happy with that.
And there are parts of the passages that are in Latin and German and all these other, and it made me go look those things up. So I like to learn things without feeling like I'm learning them. So it's something,
Why am I the nerd and she doesn't get to be the nerd? With a statement like that, you call me a nerd.
Oh, and you're just holding on to that. Wait for that. Okay, so book number 5. Now it has arrived, as I promised. Virginia Woolf. This is Mrs. Dalloway. So this novel was published May 14th, 1925. It details one day in the life of Clarissa Dalloway, a fictional upper-class woman in post-First World War England. The working title of this book was The Hours, and Mrs. Dalloway is commonly thought to be a response to James Joyce's Ulysses. Both novels use the stream of consciousness technique to follow the thoughts of two characters, one older and one younger, during one day in a bustling city. Woolf herself, writing in 1928, denied any deliberate method to the book, saying instead the structure came about with any conscious direction. In her essay, Modern Fiction, Woolf actually praised Ulysses, writing of the chapter set at the cemetery, Hades, that on a first reading at any rate, it's difficult not to acclaim this a masterpiece. However, Woolf's private writings throughout her first reading of Ulysses abound in hostile criticisms. I read you one. I saved my favorite. Woolf's disdain for Joyce's book only solidified after she finished the book. She summed up her thoughts on the work as a whole as, I finished Ulysses, and I think it's a misfire. Genius it has, I think, but of the inferior water. The book is diffuse, it is brackish, it is pretentious. It is underbred, not only in the obvious sense, but in the literary sense. Just cutting.
Queen.
Right?
Held nothing back.
Oh,
Michelle,
her.
I heard you say, but you appreciate the structure that this is one day.
Yeah, I like that you can pack an actual story into one day and tell the same kind of socioeconomic stuff, the same kind of love, passion, sex, crime, all of it, all in one day. Where some of these, whew, right, can't get it all even remotely as good in a book, a novel that takes place over sometimes years, right? One day, she captured it like all, and I enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Okay, Andrea.
I did pretty much everything that Michelle said. I have my notes are more cheating and suicide, unrequited or suppressed homosexual feelings. Poor Virginia Woolf. Her story is even more heartbreaking than her stories.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like
I do like that. So she was bipolar. I don't like that she was
Yeah,
bipolar. Let me
wow, yeah.
back that up a little bit. She was bipolar, and I love that, particularly in this novel, she does not shy away from the fact that some of these characters had some mental illness, and showed how easily that mental illness was dismissed, particularly with Septimus. Right? He sees a couple of doctors. They're like, "You're fine.
You're
You
fine.
just got some more
Yeah.
trauma. You're fine."
Yeah,
And then he jumps out of a fucking window.
Yeah.
So, because why? Unrequited love
Yeah.
of the homosexual nature. And so I love that she put it out there and she made it what it was. I mean, that's not necessarily why he kills himself, but it's a big part
it's
of
symptom.
right. It's a big part
Yeah.
of why he's so unhappy
Yeah.
and why he feels like he can't go on. And he's in a marriage where it is joyless and sexless and all of the S's. and she didn't dress it up, and she didn't necessarily dress it down. Like she just put it out there, and you're able to see that, like, and probably drew on some things from herself, right?
Yeah.
Because she also died by suicide.
Yeah. She died by suicide in that.
Like in a terrible, in a very,
Holy shit.
did she put actual bricks in her? Because she died by drowning, right?
Yeah,
Did
she
actually-
put rocks. She put heavy. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
whew,
She was like, I'm committed to the bit. And-
Okay.
But I mean,
Andrea.
but no, I'm not.
I
I'm
know.
not mocking- I'm
No,
not
I know,
mocking
no.
suicide. I'm not. What I mean though is,
I didn't think you were mocking suicide.
Okay, phew, no. But I mean, her life was like, oh my fucking god. But she was also like, this is my life and this is I am. Like when she's with her husband, she's like, listen, I love you and oh my god, I can't believe to the depth that we've got. But also you're my friend. But also I'm attracted to this and I'm attracted to that. And it seems like he was a very steady. It seems like he was good for her. You know, she was a survivor of SA by her half brother. I mean, there was so much, and it feels like it's all in this book. Like it is, everything about it. It's just, I find her wildly talented. It breaks my heart that like that she had so much talent that like it couldn't be contained in her, and she couldn't survive it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow that.
So thanks everybody for tuning in.
So the next book, I don't want to kind of go to anything else. I feel like we did a lot on that one. Okay. So number 6, I struggled with, and I'm open to discussion, but The Age of Innocence. So this was published in October of 1920. It's a novel by American author Edith Wharton.
Edith doesn't want anybody happy.
But this was her eighth. This was her eighth novel. The reason, there's a big one here. It won the 1921 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, making Wharton the first woman to ever win the prize. I felt strongly that it was published in 1920. It has that behind it, but the story's set in 1870, in upper class, the Gilded Age of New York City. Wharton writes this book in her 50s. She's already established as a major author. She's already in high demand. But again, what I'm struggling with is this is not the first time or the last time this is going to happen. I think we talked about it in the movie section, but the whole point of this podcast is to try to capture a decade, something that represents the decade. This is published in the 20s, but it's really about the 1870s. So either way, this book centers on an upper class couple's impending marriage, the introduction of the bride's cousin, who is plagued by scandal, whose presence threatens their happiness. Though the novel questions the assumptions and morals of 1870s New York society, it never develops into an outright condemnation of the institution. But either way, this novel is noted for Wharton's attention to detail, its accurate portrayal of how the 19th century East Coast American upper class lived, as well as for the social tragedy of its plot, to Andrea's point. Wharton was 58 years old at the time of publication, so she had lived in a world that had seen change pretty dramatically by the end of World War I. And then just a side note, nothing to do with anything other than in 1993, this was adapted into a movie directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, Daniel Day-Lewis, Winona Ryder, Richard E. Grant. But Ryder earned an Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe for her performance in this movie. And the movie went on to win the Academy Award for Best Costume Design. Like I said, that was a throwaway.
Remember the poster? Because that's when we were working at movie theaters. Yeah. I remember that movie poster. I remember I did not like this movie. And this movie, I had not read the book. I had read other stuff by Wharton, especially Ethan Frome. That was assigned reading. But The Age of Innocence, I found heartbreaking. I wrote something really hokey.
Oh, yes, sir.
You're going to mock me for days on this one. Always doing the right thing is not always the right thing to do.
I wrote being an independent woman was bad, and boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Right. There's a strong theme of the women in this novel being punished for just being who they are, and a very strong. I also wrote. Apologies to anyone who gives a shit. That Newland, the main protagonist, but that he's like the original MAGA, right?
Yeah.
He's like just
Yeah.
because there's a very boys will be boys and women should be in their place, and he's calling all the shots, and politically and socioeconomically, and poor people are terrible, and like the whole. So I'm okay with you having it on the list, even though because it's still it does the same thing with and we'll get to this part later. But there are other books on this list that cover the same kind of topics with a lot less ickiness for me.
Yeah.
Because my strongest feeling about this one was that both of the main women, the female characters, are really just punished for being who they are, right? One of them is boring, right? And the other one is a whore. Yeah, because she doesn't want to get the shit beat out of her anymore by some dude that basically, trafficked her in marriage in the first place.
That's the thing. And I think that's why, I know that's why I didn't like the movie. Not that the movie wasn't well done. It was excellently done. But the story is met, and I remember, I grew up, I think as you both know, grew up in the 80s. And Winona Ryder was always kind of kick-ass, and in that she did a great job of playing Newland's, I don't like this book.
Okay. Number 7,
No.
Siddhartha. Andrea's reaction. What do you got going on, Andrea?
I said, now I know why non-readers loathe the assigned reading.
Oh no, 2 books in a row that Michelle, any thoughts about Siddhartha?
I actually enjoyed this quite a bit.
Okay.
Quite a
So
bit.
you have read this
I have.
in another high school thing? Or?
And there's probably, I think this was a college assignment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I read
because
this and just left it in the desk.
I got to Jump 101.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yes, we know you were an AP.
No, I just mean that
Hey,
because
Michelle was an AP.
shut up. But because I got to it's like regular basic English 101, I got to skip it. So I went into an advanced English class my first year in WSU, and this was part. I'm fairly certain this was part of that, and I enjoyed it. I liked it because it was a glimpse into a culture I was not at all really familiar with.
I just be racist because I didn't like it.
Well, I mean,
No, not at all.
no, I just I liked learning about the like the spiritual aspect of where this character and the themes are coming from, and despite my feelings about organized religion, I do think there is a place, and I believe in spirituality. Like there's if there's something that makes you feel better and helps you sleep at night, good for you. But I subscribe more to this kind of spirituality, right?
Yes.
Where like if I just do good and be good, then good will come back to me, I hope.
Yeah.
But you're not doing good.
Crying, Ringo.
You're trying real hard.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Number 8.
Oh,
Oh
you
wait.
just don't want. You don't. No, you got nothing to say.
No, Andrea, I wasn't skipping her. I got her sense of.
Also, Pete Townsend from The Who has a I don't know if it's an album or a song, but I think it's just a song called Ferryman, and it's from this book.
Oh, okay.
There's your little music tidbit.
So number 8, the Maltese Falcon. This is a detective novel by Dashiell Hammett. Technically published in 1930, but it was originally serialized in Black Mask in September of 29. So I think it still counts. But the story is told entirely in external third-person narrative. So there is no description whatsoever of any character's thoughts or feelings, only what they say and do and how they look. The novel, obviously, it's been adapted several times for the cinema. But it is
all of them.
What's that?
Said I think we've seen.
I have seen every one of them. Yes. But interestingly enough about the author, so Dashiell Hammett, he did work for a short time as a private detective for the Pinkerton Detective Agency in San Francisco. Hammett reportedly drew upon his years as a detective in creating most of the characters in this book. And then Hammett had several other jobs before Pinkerton, but he served as an operative for Pinkerton from 1915 to February of 22, with a little time off to serve in World War I. He enlisted in 1918, served in the United States Army Ambulance Service, where he was afflicted during that time with the Spanish flu, and later contracted TB. And he spent most of his time in the Army as a patient at the Cushman Hospital in Tacoma, Washington, where he met a nurse, Josephine Dolan, who he later married in 21. So that's a little about, I'll talk more about Hammett later, probably, but for now, I mean, the Maltese Falcon.
Big fan. Yeah. And the reason I think that, so I have, okay, so for me, this is the juxtaposition between Hammett and Hemingway, because he did draw upon things he knew. To your point, he was part of a detective agency. But he was creative, and he took things that he knew about and he wrote about them, but then he made them exciting, and he embellished, and he had he was creative about it. He told stories rather than he created a story
Yes.
rather than just told a story.
Yes.
So I love it for that, and also just like, come on,
I
the hard-boiled
enjoy
detective
Yeah.
stories. You can't.
Yeah.
Andrea, what did you have? I'm sorry?
I enjoy a good Seamus story.
Yeah.
Is what I have here.
Yeah. Brother
And
Seamus.
this is one of them. Like it is. I love it. I have read it. I've, like we said, seen all the iterations of it. Like it is. I also just like the name Dashiell. Okay,
It's a great.
it's a great name.
Yeah.
It's a great name. But it's good. It is, in my opinion, along with another one that's going to come up in the second part of this. Like it's the dawn, like of the detective, and this of the detective series.
Hard-boiled
Yeah,
detective.
and this is that type of detective. The, like, you can't fool me, kid, and not falling for a femme fatale. You're like, haha, I know.
And I think what's crazy about this, and this is maybe just, but because in my brain, Humphrey Bogart is Sam Spade.
Yeah.
There's not a single detective novel that I read. Not that I don't read a lot, but when I do, that I don't just think like this is just somebody trying to do Sam Spade,
Yeah.
and in turn is just trying to do Humphrey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it actually makes them more enjoyable
Yes.
for me, right?
Yes.
To read through something where I kind of have a,
Mhm.
and I like I don't know their thoughts, right?
Yeah.
I have to,
I don't know what they're writing.
I am also getting all the same red herrings they're getting, and I'm making up my mind based on what I'm seeing the same way they are, because I don't know what they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
Okay. Anything? I don't want to. I think I get a sense from the room what's going on with that one. So, number 9, The Sound and the Fury. And boy, I got a sense of how this is going to go too. This is William Faulkner's 4th book. Faulkner's stream of consciousness writing style was inspired by the works of James Joyce. Faulkner was also inspired by Ernest Hemingway. The Sound and the Fury borrows language from Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises to describe Benji's castration. This book is divided into 4 chapters of roughly equal length. Like Ulysses and Mrs. Dalloway, the first 3 chapters are written as stream of consciousness, internal monologues, each covering a single day. Although the plot of this novel is revealed non-linearly, why did I write that word? Not in a linear fashion.
Right, linear every day.
The events of each individual day are told chronologically. The 4 chapters show a progression of how the family relates to Caddy. The first chapter focuses on Caddy's childhood, the second on her adolescence, the third on her adulthood, and then the 4th chapter shows her absence from the family and the family's slow decay without her. Thoughts on The Sound and the Fury?
Okay. So there's so much that's uncomfortable about this. Like there's a
From
lot
the
of
very start.
Yeah, from Jump Street, like the Suicide Pact, because oh my God. So the son and the sister, right? They have to make a suicide pact because she was dishonored.
Yeah.
Like can someone call the police on this whole family?
Yes.
They rename Benji.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Call the police.
Yes.
Someone please call
We
the
don't
police.
want to waste a good name
There are
on
raisins in a potato salad. Call the police.
Yes. This family is.
There's so much wrong with this. I literally wrote, what the fuck, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I have. This is under. It says Macbeth. We had to memorize that soliloquy in 11th grade. What the fuck? What is wrong with these people? And this novel signifies nothing, and I know it fucked me up. Like, because it did. I read this. It is. No.
I took 2 things from this. First of all, the only thing I liked about it is that the font would change to tell you like the time was different.
Yeah.
I like that. I love, like, I'm a visual. I need it. Also, I feel like Chuck Palahniuk read this
Yeah.
and was like, I can do this so much better. Like I could just.
Let me introduce you to Lullaby.
Oh, don't, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I feel like he read this and was like, this is just a fucked up mess, and everybody in this is just you. But I could make you like it if I just wrote it a little. Yeah, and he's not wrong. There's not a Chuck Palahniuk book I've read that I don't love, and Lullaby is a little bit like this, and the
not Choke.
no, not Choke. Gee, okay, well, I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I'll talk to you.
And any thoughts on this book?
It's really I'm not a huge fan of Faulkner. This is what my mother used to call, and I'm going to use a rose as an Southern fried drama. I don't. Tennessee Williams did this way better.
Invisible Monsters.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get the
This
sense.
is done.
I figured I kind of knew how that one's going to go, but I still want to hear your thoughts.
Southern Gothic shit doesn't do a lot for me, and it's just Magnolia and drippy and sweaty and gross. And
that makes me feel gross. Okay.
This is how I think this book was supposed to make you feel.
Final book of today. So number 10, Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Yes.
And so this is the final novel by English author D.H. Lawrence. So it was first published privately in 1928 in Florence, Italy, and then again in 1929 in Paris, France. An uncensored edition was not published openly in the UK until 1960, when it was the subject of a watershed obscenity trial against the publisher, Penguin Books, which won the case and quickly sold 3 million copies. The book was also banned for obscenity in the US, Canada, Australia, India, and Japan. This book soon became notorious for its story of the physical and I would say emotional relationship between a working class man and an upper class woman, one of my favorites. Its explicit descriptions of sex and its use of then unprintable profane words. So the obscenity part. This book was banned for obscenity in the U.S. in 1929. In 1930, Senator Bronson Cutting proposed an amendment to the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act.
Sorry.
I was waiting. Which was being debated at that time to end the practice of having U.S. Customs censor allegedly obscene imported books. Senator Reed Smoot vigorously, that's a bad name, Reed Smoot vigorously opposed such an amendment and threatened to read indecent passages of the book publicly in front of the Senate. Although he never followed through, he included Lady Chatterley's Lover as an example of an obscene book that must not reach domestic audiences.
Guarantee he was getting his freak on with like his secretary or his secretary's brother. These motherfuckers that are always trying to censor shit always have a Mike Johnson in their closet.
Oh boy! So this real quick. This story concerns a young married woman, Constance Reed. What's that? Whose upper class husband, Sir Clifford Chatterley, described as a handsome, well-built man, but is paralyzed from the waist down because of an injury in the Great War.
So I guess just throw the whole man in the trash.
Constance has an affair with the gamekeeper, Oliver Mellors. The class difference between the couple highlights a major motif of this novel. The central theme is Constance's realization that she cannot live with the mind alone. That realization stems from a heightened sexual experience that Constance has felt only with Mellors, suggesting that love requires the elements of both body and mind. Thoughts?
I think Michelle and I don't agree on this book.
I think we don't.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm already afeared that as we go through this, there's going to be some weird thing where they're like, Michelle might be a prude. No, it's not.
I think
that.
we all know that you're not a prude.
Okay, thank you. But I do. I have several notes because we have another D.H. Lawrence coming, and there's like one, maybe two other. But I feel like this the way I feel about Larry Flint. I feel like it was gratuitous for gratuity's sake. Like I feel like all of it is very like. There's not enough story to justify how gratuitous, again, like for its time, right? And that's like, Penthouse versus Playboy, right? Like Penthouse was just like, fuck it, you get it all, right? And Playboy was a little less than that. I'm not going to use the word classy. I'm just saying it had layers. And I feel like D.H. Lawrence's shit has no layers. It's just like, it was like he was begging to have the obscenity trial. He was like, oh yeah, watch this, right? I mean, really just like, and so again, I am not a prude. I do not like, right? I've read my fair share of,
Letters to Penthouse.
Penthouse
I
Forum.
know I wrote those.
Forum.
But
What?
yeah, just a quick correction from the producer. But I just feel like, I don't know, not enough. Yeah, just
That's how I felt about one that's coming up.
yeah, like two.
I do like a class difference in when two people
You don't say.
as you may know. I didn't look so much into the C word, and I'm only saying the C word because I know it freaks some people out. It's really just a word, but I'm not going to say it here. I will say fuck because that was the other thing that like they. Oh yeah, there's a lot, but
I'm sorry. So they were
in this book.
Oh.
But here's the way I saw it: like she was a wife, upper class, and her husband, his shit's not working, right? So that just because I mean, when we say it's not working, which by the way, that is it can still work.
Medical doctor.
No. But okay. Anyway, hold on. My point is that her husband, who was a very big snob and a jerk and everything like that, but it's like I can't pleasure you physically, so you know what? We're done. No, I love you. No warmth or genuine love anymore. It's like, oh, I can't play, so nah. And it's like, nah. And that's what really, like, she's like, and then nobody ever talks about the gamekeeper, my lord. His wife, they are sexually incompatible, which comes up a lot in the 20s. But I will say, for once in this, I felt like it wasn't so much her fault. Like, he was just like, we don't work. But they also kind of describe her almost as like mannish, which I'm like, are you trying to say she's a lesbian?
There's a lot of that in a lot of this.
But I saw it just more as like, her husband has fully cut her off. It's not like she was wanting and like ran into the game. It's not like the Cinemax movie that this was, which by the way, yes, I did see. But and I know you did too. But
Cinemax is high on the. When we grew up, that was like,
yeah.
That was
but
good.
I will tell you that's I really felt for her because I have seen relationships where it's like you get frozen out. And let me see too from he's kind of being selfish. I'm sorry, not just that. Okay, your shit doesn't work, but you know what? Mine does. So why?
You know what? I'm gonna give a little bit on this because when I first went through this, I was like, I have a strong objection to the like, if in order to have a successful marriage or in order to have a successful relationship or whatever, there has to be both the physical and the emotional. I don't think that's true. I think you can have. I mean, I guess I'll argue that you could have a strong relationship without the physical aspect of it. I don't know that you can have as strong a relationship with that if it's just,
Yeah,
But when I hadn't really thought about the fact, because in my brain I was like, oh well, he's an asshole, but he's an asshole because now he's he can't fulfill his duties. Any way you want to look at that. But I did not. I failed to kind of look at it from the. She's like, okay, well, now what? Right? I got a husband who because he can't perform, now he's like, well, go fuck yourself, right? I don't even I don't want to be around you. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to be around you because it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Right? I'll give a little bit. I'm still not voting for him, but I give.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
But I give on that. But I give.
Good on her.
Good? Okay. Good on her.
Good on her.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the episode. Well, if you're still with us, the one listener that's still with us, thank you. And just I want to throw out there, don't forget to follow us on socials. If you do want to yell at us or ask questions or correct us, find us on Blue Sky, TikTok. Just you can follow us on any of those. We are not on X, but So until next time, thank you everybody, and we'll see you then.
We got flappers in fringe and bootleg gin, jasmine blowing as the night rolls in. From Harlem nights to Hollywood gold, stories untold, scandal and bold.